Okay, so everyone, welcome to Breslov Efrat. We always upload our classes to breslov.org, and we load up to our beautiful little chat that we have in Breslov Efrat. Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Okay, so we're in the middle of Likutey Halachos, and it's good to be back in Eretz Yisrael again, Baruch Hashem. And I want to thank Rabbi Charles over here for hosting us with his Nate's Minyan here. This was like mama's something special.
Can I just say, if it wasn't for the learning that I did with you before you left, I wouldn't have been motivated
Baruch Hashem.
to learn next. To go
And we always say that it's the limit is not, it's the maisa. So if you, anytime you could learn something to bring you to do something, that's true learning. That's true learning. Okay, so let's. So now we're going to learn a new. We're going to learn a new house. So today we're up to now Hilchos Levishas Begadim. Okay, so the Rebbe says like this over here today. Ches. Okay, and everyone should. If you want to look at it inside later, you'll see it's halachas. It's Hilchos Hashkamas Habayka Dalit letter Ches, and Ches is is Lamala Menateva. Ches is a very, very thing. You'll see why in a minute. The Rebbe says like this: V'zeh bechinas levishas haminolim shetzarech lino shel yamin tchila likshar small tchila v'lamdu mi tefillin. Oh yeah, take a picture, please. Yeah. Okay. The lamdu. So okay. Here's the halacha today. The halacha is when we're getting dressed and we put on our shoes. It's a strange thing, the halach is. You put on your right shoe first, then you put on your left shoe. You don't tie your right shoe, you tie your left shoe, and then you tie your right shoe. Very strange. We'll understand why soon. But there's a very important story that I heard many years ago. There was once a chayal that was Chiloni. He was somewhere in Eretz Yisrael. It was right before Shabbos. He needed a ride to get to wherever he was going, and the buses stopped going, whatever it was. And there was one year that was riding down the road and picked him up, and he said to him, "I could take you to where you want to go, but it's right before Shabbat, so come spend Shabbat with me in my house, and then after Shabbos, I'll take you to where you need to go." So he says, I never really spent Shabbos anywhere before. I don't really know anything about, but you'll enjoy it. It's nice. Come. Okay. So he comes to his house, and he takes a nice hot shower there, and he takes care of him, and he goes to the Beit Knesset, and he has a beautiful tefillah. He never experienced the Kabbalah Shabbat. He never experienced it, any of this. It was amazing to him, singing and it. He comes home and he has a beautiful meal. And then he gives him a nice room, a nice bed. He sleeps nice. In the morning he gets up. They give him the nice chamin, the cholent, and it is. He's in Gan Eden, the guy. The guy's amazing. And then he can go he takes a nap, and then he goes back and he has shalosh sudot. Okay, it's amazing. After Shabbos. He's about to drive him now to where he had to go. So the chayal says to the host, I want to give you something. I want to thank you for let me pay you something for this experience. Something. He says, I'll tell you what. If you want to do something for me, take on one mitzvah. Take on one mitzvah. So he says, okay, what mitzvah should I take on? He says, take on this mitzvah, tying your shoes right. She says, how do you tie my shoes right? I don't know. He told him, put on the right shoe, don't tie it, put on the left shoe, tie that one, and then tie the right shoe. He says, well, that's a little bit strange, but okay, that's what you want? Okay, I'm a couple, I'll take it on. And he goes and he takes him where he has to go. A little while later on, this chayal had to go on a special mission. The Maisa goes. They had to go on a special mission on some helicopter thing or whatever it was, and he had to go early in the morning, like 6 o'clock in the morning. They had to go, and leave. And he was all frazzled about being on time and everything. He realized he forgot to tie his shoes the way he was supposed to. So he gets to the lineup, and he tells the commanding, or he says, I can't go. So he says, why? He says, well, I have to go back and tie my shoes the right way. He says, no. What are you talking about? Your shoes are on. Everything's okay. We got to go. He says, no, I can't go. And he said, you're going to be in big trouble if you don't. He said, I don't care. I'm not going. And he left. Meanwhile, this helicopter wound up taking off and it wound up crashing.
6 people, right?
I think it was a famous story, whatever it was. He was supposed to be one of the guys on that plane. So he took on a mitzvah, and you see the mitzvah was mamash shmira, and it saved his life. And I believe any time you do a mitzvah and you take it on and you do it, mamash, you want to do it with the way Chazal, you're mamin. You believe that this is the Ratzon Hashem, and that's why I'm doing, even though I have no idea what I'm doing. But it doesn't matter. But I'm connecting to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I'm connecting to the Ein Sof. I'm connecting to that place. Right? Like we said, the Reish is Chachma. Right? Okay. So here we go. So he said, we lamdu mi tefillin. And we learned this from tefillin. Wow. What's the connection? Tefillin, shoes. What is it? Okay, maybe they're both made out of leather, perhaps. But what's the connection? So the Rebbe says like this. Tefillin kach min olam. As the Gemara in Shabbos says on Daf Samach Aleph Amid Beis, the same way you put on your tefillin, that's how you put on your shoes. So what is that? So we know we put the tefillin, we put it on our left arm, right? We tie that on first. We put on the yad first, right? And then we put on the rosh, right? We don't do it the other way around. We do it that way, right? And we tie it on the left. And the same way you tie the tefillin on the left is when you tie the left shoe, the same way you tie the tefillin. Interesting. Isn't that very interesting? Yeah. Okay. Ki amenolam heim shmira l'raglayim. The shoes are a shmira to our feet, right? Why do we wear shoes? Why do we wear shoes? We wear shoes to protect our feet from anything that's out in the street, right? Anything that can harm our feet. Ki haraglin tzrichin lishma biyoyse laloysa mehachitzoinim hasmuchim aleihem. So we know the chitzoinim and the klipot are down on the bottom, and they are trying to connect to him and pull him down, right? The klipot are trying to pull him down. We know that on Hanukkah we put the menorah, we can put it lamata me'asara tvachim, right? Right? Only on Hanukkah we can do that, right? That's the halacha, right? You're supposed to put the menorah lower down. Why do you put the menorah lower down on Hanukkah?
To illuminate those lowest points.
Right. So those points you want to be able to bring light into those things.
We have to put them up.
Exactly. That's why the menorah. So I'm just giving you an idea. The same idea with the shoes. It's the same idea. For that reason that we're trying to lift it up. Geraglin heim bechinas chachma tata bechinas tachlis hatzimtzum. So we know there's such a thing as chachma ilah. Right? Chachma Ilah, and there's also Chachma Tata. So we said Chachma Ilah is more connected to Torah, is connected anything to Avodas Hashem. Chachma Tata is things down here and how we do things practically. In other words, how we practically perform our mitzvahs, how we practically earn our money, how we practically do everything, and that's Chachma Tata. That's in this world. That's the Chachma from down here. So Tzrichin, Lechaskon me'arba malchias aloysa lebechinas ar aponim shebeshalish regalim. So what do we have to do? We have to cut them off. We have to cut off the arba malchias and lift them up to the ar aponim shebeshalish regalim. So we spoke about that before, right? What's the idea of the shalish regalim and the ar aponim? Right, because we know when we went up to do all the regel, we went to the Beit HaMikdash, so then we would see the grandeur and we would see the greatness of the Rabbeinu Shalom, and we would see the Or Panim of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So now, when every time, and we learned in our limud here that when we can get up in the morning earlier, and we get up like we said we're supposed to really get up at Tikkun Chatzot, and then Rab Nosson said if you can't get up at Tikkun Chatzot, so get up an hour after Chatzot. He said if you can't do that, 2 hours after, 3 hours after. But anything, just make sure you get up before Allah Tashachar. Before Allah Tashachar, make sure you got up. and make sure you start your avodas Hashem. Why? Because then you can connect to the Ar Panim. Because when you can take that time and use it for avodat Hashem, and always you can have, either you do hisbodedus, or you're going to learn halacha, or whatever you're going to do in that time, you're connecting to the Rebbeinu Shalom, you're connecting to the Ar Panim. That's really what it is, and that's the same idea as the Shalosh Regal. Shemisham nimshachim bechinas menolim sheim shoymim haraglin me'achitzayim shezeu ketfillin shehem Ar Panim keyadua. Tefillin are the Ar Panim. Yeah, here, go ahead, son. Yeah, take it. Tefillin are the Ar Panim. We know that tefillin is also the pe'er, right? Tefillin is the pe'er, is the splendor, beauty, and that's why on the Tisha B'Av we don't put on the tefillin, because we don't connect to the pe'er on that time, right? Kach menolim, so too are the shoes. Kamisham nimshal bechinas hamenolim. From there you get the idea of the menolim. Shein bechinas hashmira l'raglin. That's the shmira to the feet. Balkein tzrichlin ninol shel yamin tchila. That's why we have to connect to the right first. Right? What's the right? The right is connected to chesed. Right? You have chesed and gevura. Gevura is on the left. Right? So you first connect to the chesed. That's the reason also why those that wear Rabbeinu Tam tefillin, we always put on the Rashi tefillin first, and then we put on the Rabbeinu Tam after. No one puts on the Rabbeinu Tam and then the Rashi, right? And some Sfardim put on both together, right? Right? I love that. I saw those tefillin. They're so small, yes, and they're so beautiful, amazing. But the minhag is that you would put on the halach. Actually, you put on your Rashi. You make the bracha on the Rashi, and you have in mind to have the bracha to go on the Rabbeinu Tam. No one makes the bracha on the Rabbeinu Tam tefillin. Why is that? Because we're going to learn later, Mitzvah Shem and Likutey Halachos, because the Seder Parshi is set up in the way in Rashi that it's showing the chesed of Hashem, and then it shows the din. And then, but in Rabbeinu Tam, it's reversed, and therefore you have the din, and then you see the chesed. Oh. So Rav Nosson is going to explain to us. It's about 100 pages. I'm just going to give you a brief caption of it. The whole idea is we have to, in our lives, we have to first see from Hashem, we see some goodness. Hashem shows us something good in our life. We see good things. We say thank you to the Rebbeinu, and then when something comes that's not so seemingly nice our way, but we can always remember, look how good Hashem is. He helped me in all of these things. Of course, He'll help me over here also. The example I like to give is what I learned when I was in school, and I'll say this again and again. My Rebbe used to say to us all the time, we were very into baseball, right? Baseball, so the scores and all of that stuff, right? So we had a very smart Rebbe, and he used, Chanoich lenar al pi darko, right? So what he said? So he said, take the Rebbeinu Shalom, let's compare the Rebbeinu Shalom with baseball. No, wait. What? He said like this. He said, so you have a batter, right? So you have a batter in baseball that, let's say he bats 400. Wow, this guy's great. 400. Wow, he's great, right? But what does it mean? That means he gets 40% of the time he hits the ball. That's great. That's great. He said, the Rebbe taught us that you realize you have to always look at the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu does everything in your life, and how each time you had a difficult situation, He helped you and He got you out of that difficult situation. And He has a perfect record of all the time. It's always going to be a perfect record. So don't just focus on what I'm going through right now. Think back, what I'm going through right now, let me think back yesterday and the year before and the year before that, all of those problems that I had, that I saw the Yeshua, Hashem, wow, so if Hashem helped me there, Hashem will halavai help me right over here this time, and I'll see the Yeshua also. So that's why first we put on the right, we put on the right, the chesed, the Rashi, because then we can go to the, but he said the tzaddikim, they understand that really everything, kol ma David Rachman l'tavavid. They understand that. That's why Yitzchak Avinu, which is the midah of gevura, right? Yitzchak Avinu, what's his name? Tzchok, right? Laughter. Why is it laughter? You would think it should be serious. No, because Yitzchak Avinu, sees right through what Hashem is showing him. See, he sees the din, but he sees right through the din, and he sees the chesed that's in that din. In other words, he has a problem going on. He's experiencing a problem. But he understands the end goal of Hashem. Why is Hashem putting me through this? Because there's some beautiful thing for me, waiting for me at the end that I'm going to get. So he sees that. So that's why he can laugh at the situation. The same way, like we said, Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva saw the Churban, and he saw the fox running around and he's laughing. Everyone's crying. He's laughing. Why? Because he said, the Navi said that the base of Mikdash was destroyed, and the Navi said that the base of Mikdash would be rebuilt. So now I see that the base of Mikdash was destroyed. I know it's going to be rebuilt. Gewalt, right? He understood that. So that's the way of the tzaddikim. The tzaddikim see things in that light, and that's why they can do the din first, and that's why that can be tzchok, and that's why we put on the Rashi tefillin, then we do the Rabbeinu Tam tefillin after, because once we experience the Chesed Hashem, now we can take on the din, and we can so to say deal with it. We can stomach it a little bit easier than if we started with the din and we didn't start with the Chesed. Right? Does it make sense? Any questions?
Sense.
Okay, good. Okay, Baruch Hashem. Okay, that's why, like we said, we're learning it from tefillin, so that's why we put on, we use the right arm, we use the right hand to tie on the tefillin, right? The next thing we're going to be learning, tomorrow, Mitzvah Hashem, we're going to be learning Hanhagas Beis HaKisei, so we're going to learn this beautiful halacha that, when listen, it's a halacha, right? So when you use the restroom, so you have to clean yourself, right? So you don't use your right hand, right? You don't use your right hand, right? Because the right hand, why? Chazal tell us, because the right hand is used to tie my tefillin. So one would think, again, if you use common sense, you don't understand halacha, and you're doing common sense, well, hey, listen, I'm putting the tefillin on my left arm, so my left arm should be greater than my right arm. No. The rabbis teach us that what? No, because you're using your right arm to tie it, to keep it in check, so to say. The right arm is the stronger one, and the stronger one is using it to tie on to keep the din in check. Amazing idea, right? Unbelievable idea. This is the same idea we said about when even on Shabbos when we have the challah, right? So we know that the challah is chesed and the salt is din, right? So we take the challah. What we do is we dip it in. We use our right hand, we dip the challah into the din to sweeten the judgment. Right? Not like some people, they pour the challah on top, the salt on top of the... No, they don't know. No, they don't know. No, don't say no, they don't know. That's what we're learning. They don't know, they don't understand. Because if they would know, if they understand that I'm sweetening the judgment. You know what I like to do if I go to somebody and they're doing that? So I ask them to the salt, and I put the salt, and I dip it in. So I showed them. I don't say anything. I just showed them I'm dipping it into the salt. And that's an idea that you can do. Where you don't have to give the rebuke to them, but you teach them, and they go, wait a second, if this guy's doing that, maybe I should do that also. Right? By example. I believe that's the best way to teach is through example. Okay. All right, so let's see. Now, okay. Ki ikahu bechinas yimid shu chesed shaydeze koitzrin oisai mehanu bainin oisai. So we could take away. We said like this: the other side is always coming to try to steal from the side of kedusha. The sitra achra is coming to take from the sitra the kedusha. He's always trying to steal things. Unfortunately, when we don't make our brachot correctly, we don't do our things the way we're supposed to do it. He can take away. He steals it from us. But we know when we do something right and we do the mitzvah correctly, and we make the tikkun, we make the tshuva, he has to give us back what he took from us. Right? The other side gives us, he has to regurgitate, so to say, what he swallowed from us and give it back to us. And
you're pulling it out. No?
You're pulling it out. It's the same idea. Well, you pull it out, but i.e. you're doing the mitzvah the right way.
Yes. Good.
By you doing the mitzvah with the proper kavanah, doing the mitzvah the right way. So that's how you can be part. You can redeem all of that stuff that he took from us. Okay, v'al kain b'kshira small tchila k'may tefillin. And therefore you tie You tie the left shoe first, the same way you do the tefillin. Shekaisha shel yad bismol tchila. We put on the left. Now listen. So some of you that are listening are going to tell me, well, but I'm a lefty. So hey, how does that work for me, right? Well, then it's just mirrored. That's mirrored. That's all it is. If a person's a lefty, so his right hand is the left, and his left hand is the right. That's how it is. So you can see that it's just a mirrored situation, but it's really the same thing. So if I look at you, if I look at somebody, and so I see your left is my right, and when I look at you, it's the same idea. So don't worry about that. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Ki kshira shall yad bismol tchila, because I tie it on the left first. There machma sheyev shel lekabel chesed ki ima yedei teichacha. You can only get the chesed by giving the teichacha. Who can give the proper teichacha? Who can give the proper rebuke? You need the tzaddik, and that's why we were learning the lessons before, that it's so important to be connected to the true tzaddikim, because the tzaddikim can give you the teichacha in a way that it won't be damaging, but it'll be accepted. And that's why these parshas that we're learning now in Devarim are so important, because it's Moshe Rabbeinu giving us the rebuke from the tzaddik ha'emes. We're learning, we see how you give the rebuke, you see how Moshe Rabbeinu did it. Unbelievable. Moshe Rabbeinu, right? Okay, v'teichacha hu bechinas gevuras, right? Teichacha, rebuke, is gevura, right? Everyone understand that, right? You know, no one likes to hear that they're doing something wrong. No one likes to hear that. And again, I'll just tell you what I learned with Rabbi Weinberger many years ago. I discussed it with him. Whenever you have to give someone any kind of rebuke, never give them a rebuke directly. Never do that directly, because if you do that, it's useless. Because then they have their defenses, their ego stands in the way. You're telling me I did something wrong. Who are you to tell me I did something wrong? But if you tell the person, if you go over to the person, you say to him, I just learned a beautiful halacha today. I want to share with you. I just learned something. You want to hear? Then the guy says, yeah. So he said, whatever you saw that guy do wrong, you tell him, I just learned this halacha today. Wow, because you did. Because when you saw him do it wrong, you reviewed it in your mind. So you did learn it today, right? You learned the halacha today. So you review it with him, you tell him what the halacha is, and let him perceive on his own, oh, wait a minute, wow, I just did something different. But when the person perceives it on his own, not that you told it to him directly, it could be accepted. So these are just strategies that we can use, because unfortunately we have to do that, and we can do that with our family members and with anyone. It's a great thing when you go in a roundabout way to give the teichacha and not a direct way, because if you go direct, it'll never work. Almost never work. Unless you're dealing with a true guy that's a true mamin, and then he really wants to learn the halacha, and but unfortunately, if you're dealing with someone that's not so sincere, and you do it the other way, you won't see much of a success. Does everyone agree with that? Mm-hmm. Any comments, questions? No? Okay. Bechinas small. So that bechinas yad keya. So we know that the left is the weaker hand, right? The left is the weaker hand. Al sheim bechinas teichacha, like the idea of the teichacha, shehi lefamim b'derech bizoyon shemekaha panav. So we know when we give bizoyon, when we rebuke somebody, sometimes their face gets a little bit red. The face gets a little bit embarrassed, so to say, because they heard the rebuke. With the Navi Eli in Shmuel, when he gave the teichacha to Shaloi Haichiach Hezbanav Eloi Kehavam, because the children of Eli weren't necessarily doing the right thing, but he didn't give the right teichacha. He didn't rebuke them and stop them from doing what they were doing wrong, which he should have done. Ki tefillin hey moichin, because the tefillin are the moichin. It's our mind, is our connection to the Rabbeinu Shalom, is our connection to the Torah, is our connection to Klal Yisrael, to Eretz. So tefillin is everything. Tefillin is everything. So heim ikar hamshachas hasagas elikus, and that's the way we can attain godliness and understanding, is through the tefillin. The tefillin is almost like an antenna, right? We can look at it as like an antenna. You put the tefillin on your thing, you're connecting to Shemayim. The antenna, you need an antenna to get, right? You need an antenna to connect. Why do we have always? I always like to say the mashal for the nimshal. Why did Hashem make it that if you want to get you want to hear some kind of radio thing or something, you need an antenna? Why? The same idea. We put on our tefillin. That's our connection to the Rebbeinu Shalom, to that Chachmei Allah. We can connect to the Rebbeinu Shalom. That's our Sogas Elikos. Haneva B'Torah Sheikra Hi Bechinas Tefillin Ki Yadu L'Mevin Dvarav. And that's the whole idea of the tefillin to those that understand. And that's a mitzvah Hashem. We're going to spend probably 3 months. No, I'm not kidding. Learning the beauty of tefillin. It's unbelievable. The beauty in the tefillin, it's so beautiful. It's unbelievable. And what the tefillin is connected. So that's why he says, like who understands my words over here, which Amir Hashem we will. Okay. Ki tefillin shall roish v'shal yad heim b'chinas chachmei lo v'chachma tata. How do you like that? Look at this. You have tefillin. The tefillin shall roish is the chachmei lo. It's on top, and the tefillin shall the yad is the chachma tata. Right, the same idea that we're learning with, and that's why we're connecting it to the sand, to the shoes, tying the shoe. It's from the left. Is everything okay, Sasha?
Yeah, just saw it also.
What?
In the other place. I just saw it also in the other
You saw it, yeah, okay. V'chachma tata, v'zeh b'china shachris shel tefillin, and that's why tefillin is black. You ever think of why is tefillin black? We learned before from Shir Hashirim, shechayra ani v'nava. I may be black, but I'm beautiful. Remember we said that? What does Rashi say over there? Why was I black? I was black because of my neighbors. I saw what they were doing, and I got blackened by that. But Nova, that I still found the Nekuda Taivid myself, and I found the Nekudas Taivis, and that was the beauty. So you see, so now he's connecting now tefillin, the black. Why is tefillin black? To show us that even though I may have made my mistakes, but I'm still beautiful. The same way the tefillin is so beautiful, and they have to be black. Amazing, right? You would think to make the tefillin, the Gemara talks about it. Maybe make the tefillin out of gold, maybe silver, maybe something special. No, leather has to be that you worked it. It had to be ma'ubid. It has to be you have to work it lishma. Unbelievable, right? Why tefillin? You ever see the process? It mamach. I went to one of these places what they call the batamacher. You know, the guy that makes the boxes. It stinks over there. I'm serious. When they're working on it, it's unbelievable. Well, the Gemara says a Bursky, right? The Bursky, that's a tannery. It's the worst smelling place, right? The Gemara says you can't daven with those guys, right? Those guys have to daven in their own shul, and they daven with themselves, right? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. What would we do today if a guy worked in a tannery, came to our shul? I don't know. Maybe we gotta wash them down a little bit better. But that's the whole idea about tefillin. We're gonna see so many beautiful things at tefillin. The tchila, therefore we tie on the yad first. The small, the yad keah. On the left, on the weaker arm, we want to, because really what we're showing is we're trying to weaken the din. We're trying to keep the din in check. It's the left side, it's the gevura. So I'm trying to keep the gevura in check. So when I wrap the tefillin around it, I'm so to say containing the gevura. Amazing idea. Do you ever think of that, David? You ever think of that idea that when you're tying on the tefillin, you're taking the gevura and you're so to say locking it up. Unbelievable. You're binding it.
Thought of that concept before with regard to Avram binding Yitzchak.
Yeah.
It's the same idea where the chesed is binding the gevura.
Amazing, yeah. Yeah. No. We can talk about Avram and the carbon, unbelievable. He put him on top of the mizbeach, on top of the eitzim. It says that he put him on top of lamala ala eitzim. Right? He put him on top of the eitzim. Right. So what does it mean? He put him on top of the eitzim, on top of all of the ideas. Right. We have all of ideas. It made no sense. What Avram Avinu was doing made no sense. Hashem told him that your son is gonna be the prodigy and he's gonna have everything in the comfort. And the next thing he's binding him under his mizbeach. So how could he do that? Because he went lamala me'etzim, from the over the ideas, over all his stuff in his head. He just connected to the Rebbeinu Shalom, and that was it, because that was his test. Okay, Kidei lahamshich bechinas teichacha, to take in that idea of the teichacha, to take in the idea the idea of being able to give the rebuke in the right way. Through that, you can be misgala the chesed. Because why are you really giving the teichacha? Because you care about the person, right? Why are you doing it? Why would you ever give anyone rebuke? Because you want to see, you care about it, you want to guide the person in the right way. So that by giving the rebuke in the right way, if you do it in a proper way, and you don't do it in a way that you're angry and so on, by you doing it in that way, then you'll be able to see the chesed shay. There's a koitzrin as a malchus a chachma tato, and that's how you can take away and cut down. You can cut down the malchus chachma tato from the other side. We can cut down from the other side. This chachma tato in this world, also the chachma chitzonius and all of that. So we're trying to take it down. How do we do that? By putting on our tefillin, by tying our shoes, like we said, the right way. Yes, you came in late, so I'll just tell you, we learned this beautiful halacha today, that when you put on your shoes, you put on your right shoe first, then you put on your left shoe, you tie your left shoe, then you tie your right shoe. Right? You do it backwards. And we're saying why? Why are you doing that? So you're using the right side, you're using the chesed to tie the left side, so you're using chesed to give the teichacha. Right? That's the goal. You're using chesed, connecting again to Avraham Avinu, chesed to give the teichacha, because you care about the person, and then you'll be able to actually get it accepted if you actually do it in a way of chesed. Unbelievable, right? Anyone want to say any questions or anything?
No, but I actually heard a story about the
Please,
Taz.
yeah, Charles.
I heard a story about the Taz.
Yeah.
That when it was the time of Shabtai Shvi.
Yeah, oh.
So he sent his two sons, the Taz sent his two sons to see what's going on, the guy's legit or not. But he tells them before they leave, make sure you observe everything and you tell me everything when you come back. So, okay, fine. They go there, comes back 2 days. Okay, comes back later. And he tells them, okay, how was it? He goes, I don't know, seems legit. So he goes, tell me what happened, tell me what it is. So he got to the point where he said that he put his shoes on, but he said, he did not tie his left before he tied his right, and the Taz says it's not real.
It's not real. Chazak